Turning on our body's healing command. Sympathetic nervous system versus the parasympathetic nervous system in the human body. A talk presented by patient Naidoo at a MS support group.
I'm extremely excited to share this information with all of you because it's something I wish, we knew when we were diagnosed, because it's the secret to turning on the healing process in the human body. And it's something that I don't know whether medical science feels we already know this, so they don't need to mention it. But for me, it was something that really blew my mind away at how incredibly powerful the human body is and how much control we actually do have. Okay, so today we're looking at what is called the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, why is this important? When our Creator made us, we are made to survive, So our Creator put a survival system inside our body. It's called the immune system, and a survival system on the outside of the body, and that is called the fight, flight, freeze system. So there's two systems that ensure that the human being can survive in, most scenarios. We are wired for survival. And why is this important? I mean, think about it. In the wild, here you see an animal, a buck being chased by a lion. Scenarios like that where it's life-threatening, that's when the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. It's called the fight, flight, freeze system, and it allows our body to start making a decision whether we can fight or we need to run from a scenario. Now, during caveman days, we were also chased by the lion, and we had to make a decision. Our brain had to calculate, can I fight this lion or do I need to run? Do I need to hide? So that system is in us for absolute survival. You think of situations where we need it in our daily lives. For example, if I had a pet Alsatian sitting next to me, and somebody who's terrified of dogs enters the room, immediately their system will want to run and disappear from there. They won't even tell you goodbye. They'll just exit the room because their system is protecting them. It's a fight-flight response for a life-threatening scenario. So now, when the human body is in a fight-flight-freeze space, it does not have enough energy to do much else. So our Creator has designed the human body that when it's in a space, a life-threatening scenario, everything else goes on pause. What's the point of sorting out a bacteria that's troubling your tummy when, we could be mauled by an animal? So the brain makes that connection for us, and it's a fascinating system, and I love it for that. So the fact that it cannot rest and digest and heal the body and be in a fighting position to save your life both require tremendous amount of energy. It is not possible for the human body to be in both states simultaneously. So we use the term antagonistic. So the one system that governs the fight, flight, freeze is called the sympathetic nervous system. And the system that governs the rest, digest, and repair is called the parasympathetic nervous system. Both systems, like I said, are antagonistic to each other. They cannot work at the same time. Now, here's the thing. How often are we in a life-threatening space throughout the day? Think about that, Turning on the sympathetic nervous system is something we also do with our emotions, our thought. Like I described the scenario with the lady entering the room, my pet dog is innocent sitting next to me. And her response was from past behavior, message she sent to her brain. I hope that makes sense to you. So this is a system controlled by our negative thoughts. So as soon as we're in a space where we are upset, we're angry, anything negative, the human body sees it as something bad is happening, and we sit in the red zone. So I made it the red zone. It's easier for the brain to understand. That's the sympathetic nervous system. It's ready for action, fight, flight, freeze. We describe when somebody's red in the face, they're angry. That's what that's there for. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is all about joy, love, smiling. It gives permission to the human body to start the healing process. So why is this so important? because we are turning on the sympathetic nervous system when we do not need it. Every single negative emotion we're having puts us into the red zone. So now the parasympathetic nervous system has to just sit back and just go, okay, when you're ready, I'll go in. So this is something consciously we can actually do to move ourselves out of the red zone into the green zone to start the healing. So now the two systems, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we say we are stressed out, we all love to use that term stress. Stress is exactly how the body says when we're in a life-threatening scenario, it's a stressful scenario. That's when we turn on sympathetic nervous system. We turn on this whole process where our eyes dilate, it inhibits salivation, it relaxes the bronchial, accelerates the heartbeat, it inhibits digestion, glucose production is increased so you can have action to run, you need to save yourself. We're releasing adrenaline, noradrenaline. It inhibits bladder contraction. So you can see the body is making itself ready for action. Can you appreciate that? So now when we sit there, on the phone and tell our friend, oh, I'm so stressed today, you are turning on a life-threatening scenario in your body. And we say this thinking it's just, you're just sharing with your friend something that happened that really upset you. But it might, when it happened, it upset us, yes. We needed that reaction to sort it out. But then it's finished. But we don't leave it there. We take it in and we play it over and over in our head. And all we're doing, we're holding the sympathetic nervous system. We're holding the red zone. We're telling our body there's drama here. So the doctor says something to us we didn't like. We get angry and upset. We're sitting in the red zone. When it comes to the parasympathetic nervous system, it's allowing digestion to take place. It's relaxing the eyes. It relaxes the heart. It starts the healing process. We're giving permission to our body to heal when we let go of being in a space that's negative, basically. So now, with my Take Charge Wellness formula that in the book I'm sure most of you are familiar with, in the Take Charge Wellness formula, Delta T, now when we change our thoughts, we have the ability to change from the green zone to the red zone. So if there's no conscious change in thoughts, we allow ourselves to sit in a space where it's impossible for the human body to heal. So we can be popping all the medication, as much drugs as we want. We're still not allowing the body to do what it knows to do, to start the healing process. So now, in the human body, they've discovered it's just two emotions that sit there. It's the emotion of fear. We describe all sorts of emotions, but they've actually grouped it for us into just two. So all the negative emotions sit under fear. The anger, the stress, hate, pride, greed, bitterness. It goes on and on. Lack of self-love, jealousy, uncertainty, doubt, shame, guilt. All of that. We all go through these emotions. I'm sure you all agree at some time or the other. And in a day, we go through quite a few of these emotions in just one day. And then we come to the most powerful emotion of all, is the emotion of love. All the positive emotions are wrapped up with love. You can't experience self-appreciation without love. You can't experience forgiveness without love, joy without love. So you're getting the picture. So we're in a space of either fear or love. Fear says, fight, flight, freeze, my life is being threatened. And love says, let's rest, repair, and heal. Now, as a patient with an autoimmune disease, with a chronic disease, we're sitting there so frustrated. What am I doing wrong? I'm taking all the meds. I'm eating the right thing. What's happening here? Are we really conscious of what our thoughts are doing to the healing process in the human body? And so I became very conscious now. I start checking in, what is the body doing? What's it wanting? The human mind is capable of focusing on only one emotion at any one time. So it's not possible to be laughing and crying at the same time. The brain can't do that. So isn't it exciting to know if, even though there's drama on the outside, if we choose a thought that is positive, We are changing the chemical structure of our cells just by choosing it. So you can appreciate the place where we need to be, getting up early in the morning, checking with our thoughts and go, okay, what do I need to move into the green zone? And throughout the day, as a patient, that's all we need to focus on. This conversation, did it put me in the red zone? Or do I need to move into the green zone? We want to do more of the green zone and less of the red zone. You appreciate that because we need to activate the healing system of the body. So now when it comes to the parasympathetic nervous system, the human brain has 12 cranial nerves, and 8 of the cranial nerves belong to the sympathetic nervous system, and 4 of them belong to the parasympathetic nervous system. And these 4 are cranial nerve number 3, oculomotor, around the eyes, cranial nerve number 7, facial, then you get cranial nerve number 9, glasiopharyngeal, which is around the throat and ears. And the most important cranial nerve of all is the vagus nerve. And that has a wide distribution throughout the body. And it connects the brain to the gut, as you see here, and the brain to the heart. Now, this is really exciting information for me because our emotions coming from the heart, it's going via the vagus nerve to the brain, instructing the brain, am I having a good day? Am I in the red zone or am I in the green zone? It sounds so simple, but how much of time are we spending in our day wasted in the red zone when all we need to do is make a conscious effort to move ourselves into the green zone? So how do we do this? Staying in the now. There's lots of work right now on being mindful. I mean, the internet is full of information on the power of being in the present moment. And when it comes to being in this green zone, nothing beats being in the now. When we're in the now, we're conscious of our thoughts, we're conscious of the conversation happening in our brain, because our biochemistry, our cells are eavesdropping on the conversation we're having in the head. And if we have the power to control our thoughts, it doesn't matter what somebody says on the outside, we choose our thoughts. Nobody else has that power over us. It's completely in our hands, and we can always choose to move into the green zone.